Well, let's bring in some breaking news we're getting where China has announced additional tariffs targeting the United States, and this is a response to the global tariffs. President Donald Trump announced that on Wednesday, and Beijing is now saying it will impose tariffs of 34% on all US goods. So that's some breaking news there, and that the measures will come into effect on April 10. That's in less than a week. Now, Trump raised tariffs on China to 54%. Let's now bring in Katrina Yu, who's live for us on the phone from Beijing. Katrina, not really surprising that China would slap additional tariffs there.
Not surprising, but we weren't expecting a response so quickly. Previously, China waited until the US's own tariffs were already put into effect before responding with their own actions. What we've had here, just about 2 days after the news that the Trump administration would be adding an extra 34% on Chinese goods coming into the US, we've had this response. And also, it's also a public holiday here in China. So all the government offices are closed. China's foreign ministry is closed. So we weren't really expecting this. But I think it does go to show that Beijing wants to show that it is strong coming into this, and that it cannot afford to be seen as weak, and it cannot afford to not respond quickly. So these tariffs from China come into effect on April 10, and we also have some details as to what else is involved in this response. Not only do we have 34% on all U.S. goods coming into China, China has also added 16 entities from the U.S., 16 U.S. companies to an export control list. And it's also added restrictions on some rare earth-related materials, samarium, gadolinium, terbium, and scandium. We still need to get more details as to what that would involve. But many U.S. companies rely on China. It is the biggest exporter of rare earth materials as well. Important to note, though, that there's still 5 days before this comes into effect. So I think Beijing is making an indication to the Trump administration there is still time to draw back. Yes, on Thursday, when Beijing responded to the initial Liberation Day tariffs, which saw these 54% tariff put on Chinese goods, Beijing says that this was unilateral bullying. It's saying that the U.S. should come back to dialogue, come back to negotiation. So it is kind of giving that 5 days there for that possibility to happen. But it's not also holding its breath. Another interesting thing about this is that Trump escalated the tariffs on China to 54%. China has not put a 54% tariff, but they've put a 34% tariff on the U.S. So this is tit for tat, but this is not like for like. And I think that is because China does not want to escalate this trade war very quickly. In Trump's first term, it responded really aggressively, trying to kind of meet the U.S. with equal responses. It's responding because it has to, not because it wants to. Beijing has said time and time again that it does not want a trade war. Nobody wins from a trade war. But at the same time, China is not completely surprised. This would have been a response they've been kind of waiting in the wings to put into place. And since Trump's first term, China has been slowly preparing for Trump and this escalation of this trade war by finding other markets, by investing in relationships in Africa, in Asia, and in the Middle East. So the exports that come from the U.S. to China, there are fewer than there were in the first term. So, but it is still unfortunate that this trade war is escalating, and I think waiting to see what the U.S. will respond. Beijing definitely really would not like this to go forward, and I think they're hoping for some reprieve in the next 5 days. But as I said, they may not get that.
OK, thank you very much, Katrina Yu, with that latest breaking news there on China slapping additional tariffs.